Good afternoon, class. Today we're going to talk about proving inequalities. Now, proving or the two-column method is not something new to you because we've used that back when we were talking about triangle congruence theorems. The only difference now is we are going to use it to prove inequalities instead. Now, before I start, let me just remind you that whenever I ask a question, I'll be pausing for a few seconds so you can still have participation. Please use that time so you can give your answers and check afterwards if your answer is correct. You can also pause it on your end so you can have more time to analyze my questions. Now, without further ado, for our first example, given that angle BCD and angle BCA form a linear pair, prove that measure of angle BCD is greater than measure of angle B, and that measure of angle BCD is greater than measure of angle A. Of course, we are going to start with something that we know. So our first statement is that angle BCD and angle BCA form a linear pair, and there's no other reason for us to know that except that it is given. From that first information, we can now say that measure of angle BCA plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle A equals 180 degrees. Why is that so? If your answer is triangle angle sum theorem, then you are absolutely correct. Because according to the triangle angle sum theorem, the sum of all interior angles, including angle BCA, angle B, and angle A, is 180 degrees. For our third row, what can we say using the definition of linear pair? Okay, using the first statement, we can say that measure of angle BCA plus measure of angle BCD equals 180 degrees since they are a linear pair. So, etong dalawang to, BCA and BCD, kapag inad mo sila, they are going to sum up to 180 degrees. Okay, so next, measure of angle BCA plus measure of angle BCD is equal to measure of angle BCA plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle A. What makes us say that? If your answer is transitive property of equality, then you are correct. The transitive property of equality states that if two values are equal, then equal to the same value, then those two values are equal. Since using the second and the third row, sabi dito, angle BCA plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle A equals 180 degrees. Whereas sabi naman sa third row, measure of angle BCA plus measure of angle BCD is equal to 180 degrees. Parehas silang equal sa 180 degrees and therefore we can equate the two of them. That's why we have the fourth row. And how about the fifth row? It says measure of angle BCD equals measure of angle B plus measure of angle A. What is the reason for us to assume that? The reason for that is the subtraction property of equality. Since we have angle BCA on both the left and the right side of the equation, we can subtract measure of angle BCA from both sides, and we will be left with measure of angle BCD on the left side and measure of angle B plus measure of angle A on the right side. So we can equate the two of them. And since we have to add them just to be equal to measure of angle BCD, and we know that all angles are measured positively when we're talking about angles in a triangle or when direction is omitted, then we can say that um, individually, the sum of positive addends is greater than any of the addends kapag kinumpare natin sila. Okay? So, that completes our two-column method for proving that measure of angle BCD is greater than measure of angle B, and that measure of angle BCD is greater than measure of angle A. So that is for our example. For your assignment, I want you to complete this two-column method, given that line segment TR is congruent to line segment IR, and line segment OT is greater than line segment OI. Prove that measure of angle TRO is greater than measure of angle IRO. This will be checked once we are back to face-to-face classes, so please make sure that you have them ready. Thank you for watching this video. Bye!